Hey everyone, I am Nidhi Sharma and welcome to EconomicsDecoction where I share the essence of economics. So in this video, we are going to learn all about demand. And I'm pretty sure by the end of this video, you are going to get a clear idea regarding various important concepts of demand as mentioned on the screen. So make sure that you watch this video till the end. And also, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe and also press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. So without any further delay, let's get started. So let's first understand what is the difference between desire, wants and demand. Let's consider a situation when a consumer is willing to pay but does not have the ability to pay. That means the consumer does not have sufficient purchasing power or money income. So the consumer is not able to pay, but the consumer is willing to pay. So this situation would be considered as a desire. Let's understand this with the help of an example. A consumer wants to own a luxurious car. No doubt the consumer is willing to pay, but the consumer does not have sufficient money income to buy that car. So the consumer is not able to pay. So this scenario would be termed as a desire. Now let's understand what is want. If a consumer is able to pay, but somehow the consumer does not have willingness to pay, so this would be considered as a want. This is not demand. While if a consumer has ability as well as willingness to pay, then it would be considered as demand. Hence, the demand for a commodity is a consumer's desire to own that commodity for which he or she is willing as well as able to pay. So, this is basically the concept of demand. Now, let's understand the difference between demand and quantity demanded. Demand refers to various quantities that a consumer plans to buy at various prices of a good during a period of time. Now, as you can see, we have presented price of a commodity and the quantity demanded in a tabular format. When the price is 10, the quantity demanded is 30, while when the price increases to 20, the quantity demanded is 20. And when the price increases to 30, the quantity demanded gets reduced to 10. So, if we can see that the when the price is 10, the quantity demanded is 30. When the price is 20, quantity demanded is 20. And when the price is 30, the quantity demanded is 10. So this shows basically what is the various quantities that a consumer plans to buy at various prices during a particular period of time. While quantity demanded is the amount of a good or service which a consumer plans to buy at a particular price. Say when the price is 30, the quantity demanded is 10. So this is a one-to-one kind of relationship, that whatever is the price, what is the quantity demanded at a particular price. This is basically the idea of quantity demanded. Now, let's understand what is demand function. Demand for a commodity has a functional relationship with various factors. As we can see, QD is the demand for a commodity. It is related, that means it has a functional relationship with price of the commodity, that is PX. PY, price is of a related commodity. I, income of the consumer. T, that is tastes and preferences. A, advertising expenditure, etc. So we can clearly see that quantity demanded of a commodity is related to price of the commodity, and also many other factors such as price of related commodity, income of the consumer, that is I, has an important influence on quantity demanded. Taste and preferences, advertising expenditure, and many other factors are an important determinant of demand. So this is basically our demand function. So now let's understand the famous law of demand. In microeconomics, the law of demand is a fundamental principle which states that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. In other words, we can say that price of a commodity and the quantity demanded is inversely related to each other. Say when the price of a commodity increases, quantity demanded decreases. And when the price of the commodity decreases, the quantity demanded increases. This shows an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Here, one important thing to remember is that we consider other factors of demand to be constant. As you can see, it is written there that conditional on all else being constant. That means the price of a commodity and the quantity demanded has a one-to-one inverse relationship. And we consider that the other factors or the other determinants of demand, that is price of related commodity, income of the consumer, taste and preferences, everything is considered to be constant. So let me tell you one term. There is a term called ceteris paribus, that means keeping all other things being constant. So this idea of ceteris paribus applies in law of demand, and the law of demand states that keeping all other factors to be constant, the price of a commodity and quantity demanded of a commodity has an inverse relationship with each other. Now, if we plot the price of a commodity and quantity demanded at various prices in a tabular format, we get a demand schedule. So we can clearly see that when the price is 10, the quantity demanded is 40. When the price further increases to 20, the quantity demanded further gets reduced to 30. When the price increases to 30, the quantity demanded gets reduced to 20. And when the price is at its highest, that is, it is 40, the quantity demanded is 10. So this this schedule that clearly shows us that the law of demand, the operation of law of demand, that when the price is increasing, quantity demanded is decreasing. Now, if we plot this demand schedule on a two-axis graph, that is, if we consider price on the y-axis or on the vertical axis and the quantity demanded on the horizontal axis, we get a negatively sloped curve. As you can clearly see that when the price of a commodity is increasing, the quantity demanded is getting decreased. So this shows us the law of demand. The negative slope of the demand curve is mainly due to the operation of law of demand. Now let's understand what is the movement along the demand curve. Demand for a commodity changes basically due to change in its own price, while all other factors or determinants of demand to be constant. Then there occurs a movement along the demand curve. Now, movement of a demand curve can be categorized as extension in demand and contraction in demand. Extension in demand is also known as increase in quantity demanded, while contraction in demand is also known as decrease in quantity demanded. Let's understand the extension in demand and contraction in demand. When the demand for a commodity increases due to decrease in the price of the commodity, while all other demand determinants to be constant, then there occurs an extension in demand. As we can see in the schedule here, that when the price is 40, the quantity demanded is 10. When the price gets reduced to 10, the quantity demanded gets increased to 40. This shows us the operation of law of demand, the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. And as the price is getting reduced, the quantity demanded is increasing. So there is an extension in demand, or this is also known as downward movement along the demand curve. Similarly, we can understand what is contraction in demand. When demand of a commodity decreases due to increase in its price, while all other factors or all other demand determinants remain constant, then it is known as contraction in demand. As we can see, when the price increases from 10 to 40, the quantity demanded decreases from 40 to 10. So this shows us a contraction in demand or an upward movement along the demand curve. Now let's understand what is shift in demand curve. Shift in demand curve basically occurs when the demand changes due to change in other factors, but the price of the commodity remains constant. Shift in demand curve can basically be categorized as increase in demand and decrease in demand. So, shift in demand occurs when demand of a commodity increases due to change in other factors, while own price of the commodity remains constant. then it is known as increase in demand. While decrease in demand of a commodity occurs when price of the commodity remains constant, while other factors change, which leads to decrease in demand. Let's understand this concept of increase in demand and decrease in demand, or we can say shift in demand, with the help of an example. Let's consider there is a company that sells pizzas. So the company basically decided that let's increase the quantity demanded of our pizzas among the consumers. When in doing so, the company management thought that let's keep the price of our pizzas to be constant, say at 30, as we have shown in the graph. So the price of the pizzas must be constant at 30, but still we should get an increase in demand. So they decided to launch an advertisement campaign, and luckily, the advertisement campaign was quite successful, as many consumers got attracted towards the pizza of this particular company, and that led to an increase in demand for pizzas. So, here basically we saw that the price of the commodity, that is the price of pizza, was kept constant at 30. Still, there was an increase in demand, that is due to change in, there was a change in other factors, that is there was an advertisement campaign that attracted consumers towards demanding more and more of the commodity, that is pizza. So we see here that even the price is kept constant at 30, the demand or the quantity demanded of pizza got increased from 10 to 20. So this basically shows the increase in demand. Now let's consider decrease in demand. So we can take relate to this example itself. For example, the consumers have now changed their tastes and preferences. Now the consumers are preferring momos over pizza. So what basically happened is that, yeah, so what basically happened is that people have now started they have shifted their preference towards momo rather than pizza. So even if the price of pizza did not increase from 30 to further, the demand for pizza got reduced from 20 to 10. This is basically due to change in tastes and preferences. So we can see here that the price was kept constant at 30, it did not increase, but still there was a decrease in demand, that is due to change in tastes and preferences. So in both these examples, we could see that the price was kept constant, but still there was a change in demand, or there was a either there was an increase in demand, that is due to the advertising campaign, or there was a decrease in demand, that is due to change in taste and preferences. So this basically shows that shift in demand occurs when there is no change in the own price of the commodity while other determinants of demand changes. Increase in demand is also known as forward shift in demand curve, while decrease in demand is also known as backward shift in demand curve. So I hope that the concept of increase in demand and decrease in demand is now clear to you, and also you have got the idea or the difference between movement along the demand curve and shift in demand curve. So now let's proceed further towards our last topic, that is derived demand. Let's first read the definition of derived demand. Derived demand is demand for a factor of production or intermediate good that occurs as a result of the demand for another intermediate or final goods. So let's understand this concept with the help of an example. I'll try to relate this idea with my previous example. In the previous example, we saw that the demand for pizzas got increased due to an advertising campaign launched by the company. So when the company observed that the demand for our pizzas is increasing, so they decided to employ more labor for making pizzas in order to cater the increased demand. So here we see that increase in demand for pizzas, that is the final product, is leading to a increase in demand for labor. So labor has a derived demand. Let's consider another example. During the winter season, the demand for woolen sweaters increases. and wool is an important raw material for making woolen sweaters. So, during the colder season, when more and more consumers start demanding woolen sweaters, the demand for wool also increases as it is the prime raw material in making woolen sweaters. So, we can say that the demand for wool is a derived demand, as we are deriving its demand through demand for woolen sweaters. Hence, wool is not demanded directly, rather, it is demanded indirectly by the consumers through demand for woolen sweaters. So, as you can see, it is mentioned here in the example that demand for labor is a derived demand from the demand for goods and services. So, same is the case for wool as it is a raw material or for any other raw material that is used in manufacturing any final good or service. So, I hope that the concept of derived demand is now clear to you. And here we come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel and also press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. I'll see you soon in my next video. Till then, keep studying.